My weird classmate tried to brand me by pressing a sizzling hot metal crest against my skin, so I took the ultimate revenge and had him begging. 6 months later at graduation, he begged me not to mention him in my valedictorian speech. I was 13 when my parents disowned me, and it was the best day of my life, because that's when they shipped me off to an elite Swiss boarding school. You see, up until this point, my parents were abusive as hell, so even being surrounded by preppy white boys and having constant imposter syndrome was better than living at home. I thought I would be the only one that felt like an outcast. Until 3 months later, when I met my saving grace. It came in the form of a boy with a hit-up backpack and homemade haircut named Randy. As soon as he walked into the dining room, everyone went silent. I was going to ask him to sit beside me and my friends when suddenly my roommate Jake grabbed my arm. Don't. The last scholarship kid we had stole 3 Rolexes and someone's MacBook before getting expelled. I wanted to tell Jake I knew what it felt like to not belong, but I also remembered eating alone my first month before they accepted me. So instead, I just nodded and tried to tell myself that if I had to earn my spot here through hell, so did he. But what they did to him over the next few weeks still keeps me up at night. It started small. The library installed a metal detector that only he had to walk through. Rich kids would spill things on his clothes specifically because they knew he couldn't afford to replace them. And instead of fighting back, he did something even worse. He was kind. When his mom sent homemade cookies, he shared them with everyone, including the kids who tortured him. I watched him pick up a $50 bill on the floor and ask everyone who it belonged to. It was one of those high school situations when you don't know who's telling the truth, so you choose to stay out of it. But then came Legacy Week. For those who don't know, it's a week where if your parents went to the school, then you can hit up kids whose parents didn't, all in the name of tradition. I figured that if I stayed put in the library, then I'd be okay. I was walking back to my dorm at 11 p.m. when 3 Legacy students cornered me in the basement. Preston stepped out of the shadows holding the metal school crest like he'd done this 100 times before. The other 2 Legacy kids blocked my exits while he flicked his lighter open and held the flame under the metal. Every non-Legacy needs to learn their place, he said, watching the crest start to glow orange at the edges. Hold him, he told the others. They grabbed my arms and I couldn't move, couldn't breathe, couldn't think of anything except how much it was going to hurt. But suddenly, I heard the fire alarm go off. The sprinklers kicked on immediately, soaking everything. Preston dropped the hot metal and it hissed against the wet floor. Shh! We gotta go, one of them said. They released my arms and bolted for the exit. Through the water pouring down, I saw Randy standing by the alarm pull station, his hand still on the lever. He helped me up, and we made our way out as security guards rushed past us toward the basement. The next morning, we were called to the headmaster's office. I walked in with my head held high, thinking that Preston would finally get what he deserved, but the headmaster didn't even look at me. He just stared straight at Randy. Do you have any idea how much damage you've caused? He asked, his tone cold and assertive. The basement is flooded. Thousands of dollars in water damage. They were trying to. This is what happens when we let people like you in. The headmaster interrupted him. You can take the kid out of the gutter, but you can't take the gutter out of the kid. One more incident and you're out. Randy's shoulders dropped as he nodded. We were